My journey to healthy eating wasn't a walk in the park. I had a lot to learn and many experiments to try. Some of them were tough, but there were also some easy ones that made the beginning of my journey much easier. Junk foods. Growing up, my parents didn't buy my brother and me much junk foods. As a result, when I started living on my own, I developed this habit of always having sweets and savory snacks at home, making it easy to consume some of them every single day. At a certain point in my health journey, I realized that if I didn't keep any at home, I would consume less of it. This wasn't enough to stop me from consuming junk food altogether, but I added an obstacle. Every time I felt like having some sweets, I had to leave the apartment and go to the store. When I met my husband, I was already more health conscious than him, so I had to ask him to hide any junk food he would bring home. Here's the thing, if I don't know it's there, I don't want to have it. Following the same principle, if I have certain foods easily available, I'm more likely to consume them. For this reason, I keep my fruits in a bowl on the counter. When I open my pantry, I see my jars of nuts and seeds, and my fridge shows me all the prepped meals first. Eat before hunger hits. Some people forget to eat when they are too busy or stressed out. I'm not one of them. My body always reminds me when it's time to eat. If I ignore the cue, however, I become hangry and will grab whatever is closest and easy to eat, even if it's not the best choice. It's like I can't think clearly anymore and forget all my knowledge about nutrition. That's why I have learned to stay in tune with my body, listen to it, and feed it as soon as it needs it. Keeping healthy snacks on hand, like nuts or dark chocolate, especially when I'm not at home, can be helpful to curb the first cue of hunger. Influencers versus experts. Who hasn't turned to social media when looking for help? I certainly have, and I've learned that it can be a double-edged sword. When searching for healthy eating, it's easy to be drawn in by accounts with beautiful photos and videos of meals, snacks, and desserts sold as healthy. At one point, I admit I was guilty of this myself, publishing recipes that I knew would do well on social media because they looked delicious. However, healthy eating is more than just making recipes with healthier ingredients. For example, if you eat cookies made with large amounts of coconut sugar or maple syrup, you might think you're doing better than if you use regular sugar. But is it really the case? Luckily, social media also makes it easy to find the right people and stop following those who aren't beneficial to us. When I stopped following influencers and started following experts, it made a huge difference in the type of knowledge I was acquiring. Don't trust labels. I used to trust the system. I thought the government wouldn't allow companies to lie to us, the citizens. Boy, was I wrong. Knowledge is power. And that applies to everything. When I started understanding marketing, business, and the food industry, I began questioning things and looking for ways to find the real information. So I stopped reading claims on packaged foods and started reading the ingredient list instead. This made it easier to buy fewer ultra-processed packaged foods and focus more on whole natural ingredients. Liquid sugar. I know people who are addicted to sugary drinks like Coca-Cola and can't stop drinking them. I went through a phase myself when I was working full-time in an office and would go out for meals every day, and I had a Fanta with my meals. I was also going to the gym at the time, so I thought I was safe. Of course I was wrong. Fortunately, it was easy for me to change that habit. Around the time juices and smoothies became trendy. Do you remember? Juice bars started popping up everywhere, and you would see photos of them all over social media. To be honest, when I jumped on that trend, I wasn't drinking green juices, mostly because lots of them are pretty gross, but any other color available, while being completely unaware that I was actually drinking sugar and no one was talking about it. Later, I understood scientifically how and why juiced fruit spikes blood glucose. But even the little evidence I had from the beginning was enough to make it easy to stop having liquid sugar. Fiber. I grew up avoiding any green vegetable, having been traumatized as a kid by being forced to eat boring boiled spinach. This hate extended to other fiber-rich foods such as onions, peppers, mushrooms, cucumbers, and many more. It wasn't until my mid-30s that I slowly started to incorporate different vegetables into my diet. I learned how to cook unfamiliar produces and mix new flavors with those I already loved. Nowadays, I make it easier to keep variety in my diet by mixing many veggies together in soups and meatballs, so I don't have a predominant unloved taste. The benefits I have noticed since increasing my fiber intake are important. Not only am I very regular, but when I experimented with the glucose monitor, I could see the actual numbers showing how powerful fiber can be in our diets. Diets. Is there anyone in the world who hasn't tried some kind of diet at some point? I certainly have. The last two I can remember were when I first started eating healthily. I was following people on Instagram who promoted a gluten-free and vegan diet, and they all looked amazing. Since my goal was mostly to lose weight, I thought that was what I needed to do. As a result, I deprived myself of foods I love and started buying packaged ultra-processed foods with vegan and gluten-free labels. I thought if it had those claims, it must be good for me. Needless to say, my waistline didn't get any smaller, but my bank account did. Once again, I had to experiment to understand that what I needed, it wasn't another diet, but the lifestyle change. I needed to find a way to make healthy choices easier and more enjoyable, and ones that were adapted to my personal taste and my body. I found it relatively easy to make these changes. That when I became an entrepreneur, life got busier and time became scarce. So I had to find ways to make healthy eating not only happen, but also faster. Do you want to know how I managed to eat healthily as a busy business owner? Check out this video here.